this article, we talked about an 8-week plan to massively increase your sales. I started with 2 rules that apply to every business, all right? Rule number 1, every business, no matter what the product or service you provide, is actually a marketing business. Simple as that. Your job as a business owner is a 2-step job. We've talked about this before, but I'm going to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until you understand it. I don't care if you're an architect, a CPA, a contractor, or whatever. I don't care if you're selling shirts that you print, a printer, a doctor, a lawyer. Your business is a 2-step business: to get customers and to keep them as long as possible and get as much money out of them for that length of time. So I guess you could say 3 if you want to. Rule number 2 comes into play just as important. 80% of the customers in any particular niche will buy from the top 3 companies that are the best at marketing their products and delivering what they promise. I quote in the article Dan Kennedy, who says actually in the new economy, with social media and everything, that's really about 95% of the money gravitates to those people, and I'm going to quote him word for word. 95% of the money gravitates to the ambitious and the eager to learn, and will separate and be shared disproportionately by the most ambitious and most eager. It is now essential to be smarter, sharper, more progressive, more organized, more everything in order to get to the top of the pyramid. I've already seen this happen with my own clients. I have my top 5% that are just kicking butt. I mean, they're making money hand over hand. I mean, it doesn't matter the economy. Bad economy, good economy, doesn't matter, because they're the top in their business. People are buying, all right? If I have 20% unemployment, I still have 80% of the people out there. Half of those have cut back. I still got 40% that are buying. The problem is when the economy's booming, you make money by accident. You can just open the doors and everybody, there's enough spillage that gets down to the bottom. When the economy contracts, less customers, but they go to the ones that they trust, because now, a couple of things: less money to spend, but they're more nervous because they're worried about wasting money. So they rather than going on a startup or somebody they don't know or somebody they haven't seen the advertising, they're going to go with the safe bet, which is the person that has been there the longest, that looks more organized, that has more advertising. I think that's actually a good thing, because it actually rewards those businesses that are willing to spend the time, money, energy to plan and to implement a plan. Let's be honest about it. The whole idea behind this magazine is the idea of good ideas plus, implementation equals massive profit. Basically, the idea behind that is having a good idea and a plan and implementing it. I asked my business owners to spend 4 hours a week for 50 weeks. I give you 2 weeks off, plus it makes the math easy. 4 times 50 is 200 hours. If you spend 200 hours a year improving your business, creating a plan, implementing the plan, following it up, and improving the plan, and you do this for 2 or 3 years, here's the good news: your competitors aren't. So it's very easy to become, they're not spending that kind of time. They're busy doing what you're doing now, which is putting out fires. If you can spend that 4 hours a week for 50 weeks, for 3, 4, 5 years, the businesses I've worked with that do that have dramatic increases, and no matter what the economy is. So if you're worried about the economy, this is what you do. You put a plan together. All right? I've never seen a business-dominated niche without a structured marketing and sales plan. Think about that. I've never seen it. I dare you to go find one. Name a business that's a major business now that got there without a plan on how to get there. Southwest Airlines, one of the few airlines that actually makes money consistently over the years. They had a vision, a plan on how to implement that vision, a goal of where they wanted to go. They knew what their market was. They did their homework, and they sit back and do that every year. They make money every year. All right? The sad thing, businesses fail even though there's nothing in marketing and sales that you can't learn. It just takes planning, hard work, and discipline to implement the plan. So we've provided an outline in this article, an 8-week plan, that yes, there's a ton here. I sat down and wrote this. There's a ton. And we've covered a lot of these materials in past articles. So in past issues, in articles and past issues, I can say this. All right, so go ahead and get them. They're available in the iPad store. You can buy past issues, okay? At least buy the March issue that had our best articles from the prior 7 or 8 months. That covers a lot of them. All right, but let's sit down and talk about what an 8-week plan looks like. And by the way, keep your eyes open. Another month or two, we'll probably have a product out that'll be an 8-week plan. So keep your eyes open if you don't think you can do it yourself. But this gives you a good outline. I think you can do a lot of this yourself. Get the magazine and come to us for help. Week 1, we start with reviewing your marketing basics. What we're basically talking about, we're answering 2 questions. Where do you want to go? What's your purpose in marketing? Who are you trying to sell to? What are your goals? What's your strategy for getting there? All right. And the second part really is a bunch of questions that determine where you're starting from. It's like taking any trip. You got to know where you're trying to go. You got to know where you're starting from. And then the next 7 weeks are basically taking you from where you're at to where you want to go. All right? And these are customized. That's the problem with an 8-week plan, is that you really have to do it. We can assist you. We're going to come up with products to assist you. This will assist you. But at the end of the day, there's no substitution for you doing the work. This is not something you can outsource. It's your business. If you outsource it, don't be surprised if you get something back that gets you to a place you don't want to go. All right? One of the key things that's in week 1, and I think you need to spend quite a bit of time in week 1, is understanding the most important question in marketing. Why, with all the other possible competitors out there and all the other choices your customer has that they can make, including not doing anything, should they buy from you? That you have to answer. So that's a key question in week 1. Week 2 is spent doing 2 things, most of it in the first category. Truly understanding your ideal customer. You can make, let's be honest, especially CPAs and doctors and people like that, we tend to help everybody, but you make a lot more money from your ideal customer. I know who my ideal customer is. You do too if you sit down and do it. So there's a bunch of questions in here about outlining and coming up with who's your ideal customer. Second thing, part of week 2, is truly understanding what your competition does well and doesn't do well. Where's the openings? Where do they beat you? Where do you not want to fight on their strengths? Where do they not do well? Where do you fight on your strengths? Back on week 1, some of the questions are those. What things do you do well? You want to fight on your strengths, not on theirs. And in week 3, we concentrate on your product or service and maximizing it in a way to maximize your profits. Designing it in a way to maximize your profits. I knew the sentence was in there somewhere. So we start off by listing features, advantages, and benefits. A feature is just what it does. Pen writes. An advantage is it has the ability to retract. The benefit to that is when I stick it in my pocket, I don't put a hole in the bottom of it. I don't put ink in my pocket. All right? That's the quick, simple feature, advantage, benefit. People don't buy the pen, they buy the benefit. All right? I like this pen, it has a little cushioning. I like this pen because it's easy to write with. Sell those things. Don't sell, I got a black pen that runs blank ink at 0.7 or whatever. All right? What's the benefits of all that? So any product, look at all your products and services and put it, what's the feature, what's the advantage, what's the benefit to my customer. What are your entry products we're going to talk about in week 3, things you should do in week 3. An entry product is something that normally 80% of your customers are going to come into your business. That's what they're going to ask for. So how do you leverage that? How do you take it from that entry product to your more profitable products? What's your positioning? What niche do you want to go after? Who's the product for? You should have answered a lot of this in week 2 when you did your ideal customer. Creating your product or service for every step of your customer development. No matter what you're in, we do it in ours. A business that's just starting off has different needs than a business that's been in business for 10, 15, 20 years and has 20 employees and 100 million, 5 million, 10 million in sales, which does have different needs than somebody that has 100 million in sales. And you want to design new products or lines to take advantage of different areas and looking for different niche. Consider tiered products. We have an article in this talking, I think it's in this one. I apologize if it isn't. On tiered products it is, isn't it? All right, tiered products is talking about, we do blogs too, so sometimes I forget what's in which month and what was a blog. So tiered products basically is, airlines do it. You got your coach, you have your business class, you have first class. Let's be honest, at the end of the day, you're all getting on the plane, getting on the plane, taking off at the same time, getting off the plane at the same time in the same city. We're not selling anything different. We're not saying, okay, halfway through we're going to throw half of you off because you only paid half price. It's not how it works. What's happening, think about it, we all understand it, coach, you're a little squeezed together, you might get a peanut and a Coke. Business class, you get to come in at the last minute and jump in line whenever you want. You get some other little features and things like that. First class, you understand that. You're sitting up front, get a drink for free. You get on first, get off first. What the airlines has figured out is that people will pay for these things so that they can take their basic, which is taking you from point A to point B, and certain customers are willing to pay more. Look at in week 3, we want to ask you to look at your products and see if you can create a tier. All right? Lifetime value of your customer, you need to calculate that. Because why? That tells you the difference between how much you can spend on advertising. The guy that bought the Gillette company for the longest time gave the razor away. Cell phone companies did this too. Then let's go there instead. Cell phone companies understand they'll subsidize the stupid phone. They'll almost give it to you because the lifetime value of the customer is not in buying the phone. It's in the monthly service. So if they didn't know that, they'd charge like they did when they first came out, $400, $500, $600 for a phone, and somebody went, who cares about the phone? Let's get them to pay the service. All right? Once you know that, pricing and discounting policies. How do you determine your price? What's your discounting policies? Consider raising your prices. Fastest way to increase sales is to raise prices. And a lot of times, especially if you're in a service industry, you can do that easily because you're not selling a commodity. Right? But even in the others, try to find a way to separate. If people are comparing apples and apples, don't sell apples. Sell a kumquat or kumquat. Sell something different. How about a grapefruit? I can say that. Sell a grapefruit, all right? Now, can't be compared. I'm selling something different. How can you position yourself to be different? Week 4, I can do that, 3, 4. Fine-tune your sales cycle. Here we're trying to maximize the sales from your current customers. Start off, quickest way to increase revenue is to identify your top 20% of your customers and figure out what they're buying and figure out how to get more to them, all right? I can spend a lot of time on all of these. I'm going through this very fast. I'm trying to give you an idea of what I was thinking when I wrote these down. Calculate the break-even point. Why? I need to know how many products I need to sell in order to break even, all right? If I can't sell that many, or the business won't sell that many, you can't sell that product, all right? It's very simple. Calculate the total cost of selling your product. Be careful about this because people say, I bought the thing for $1, I'm selling it for $2. If it cost you $1.50 to sell it between your advertising, your salespeople, and your delivery and your collection, you just lost 50 cents on each one you sold. So you need to understand that. Accounting, sorry, it's the language of business, and you need to have good information. Map out every step of the first contact with the prospect. Now people that are in manufacturing always surprise me. We do a good job, all of us, no matter what our product or service, we do a pretty good job calculating, mapping out how to put a product out or how to put a service out. But we don't control anything about the first contact. Now you might do it when you're new because you're the salesperson, so you're able to do it. But then you hire somebody and you put them out there and they answer the phone and they don't have a clue. Script it. Answer it. Make sure you understand that. Control it. Manage it. Measure it. All right? And that's everything. Review every step and look for ways to improve it. How do you attract the prospect? How you capture the lead? How you nurture the prospect through multiple planned contacts? Making the sales, converting that prospect into a customer, wowing them through delivery, upselling and cross-selling, and getting referrals. And that's the next step. We did an article back, I want to say it was either in August or September, so you want to go back and look at it. And we got previews now set up on all of them, so you can go open a magazine and look at the first 14 or 15 pages, and you're definitely going to get the table of contents to see if it's one you want to look at. But this article is well worth looking at because it basically shows how you can do a 45% increase in sales from your current customers without spending $1. All you're talking about doing is getting a 10% increase in the number of prospects that become customers, a 10% increase in the number of customers who are upsold to the higher level of service, tiered, all right, or purchase additional, the number of 10% increase in the number of times they come and how often they purchase from you, and a 10% increase in the number of referrals. And every one of these is a program that you can do. We've done articles on most of these, and we'll continue to do articles. Go ahead and look at the previews and see if you can find them. Another step we want you to do in week 4 is to do an analysis of why you're losing customers. I've seen so many businesses, they're so busy worrying about bringing in new customers. And I use the analogy, they're filling up the bucket and they got holes in it. Or, another analogy I've heard, you're inviting customers in through the front door, and a bunch of them are leaving through the back door because you're not paying attention to them. So analyze why you're losing customers. Figure out a way to stop that. And then I say eliminate your sales prevention department. I hate walking into a store and all I see behind them is we don't accept checks, cash only, we're going to charge you if we, everything's no, 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 no. It's not a friendly store. I call it a sales prevention policy because you're basically making it easy for me to say no because you're telling me no. Get rid of it. Analyze anything that gives the wrong impression to the client. So I call that eliminating the sales prevention department. Never give up on a lead. We give up too often. Even a lead, if you have a lead at any time and then they've said no, come back in a year. Time might have been wrong. So come up with look at a CRM program, a customer, what is that? Help me out, Jacqueline.
Customer
Relational manager, yeah. Customer Relations Manager program. Yeah, Jacqueline's back there. She's the one that's supposed to keep me from doing what I just did. All right. Finally, we talk about reactivating lost customers. All right, lost customers can be a really good way to do it. I had a dentist one time that I walked into it and he had a room about as large, about 2/3 of this full of files. And wow, you do all these people? No, about 80% of these people I haven't seen in a while. And I got him to send out a postcard to lost customers, and what's amazing is a good number of them came. Because they were kind of embarrassed, they hadn't been there in a while, and he put a special together. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while, let's improve your smile, blah, 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 come up with something. Send him a simple postcard. Thing paid for itself and kept paying for itself. I think he stopped doing it, but if you've been in business a while, you got customers that have just left you for whatever reason. If you got a new product, great reason to send it to them, assuming you want them back. I got some customers I don't want back. Week 5, choose and design your sales and marketing tools. Now you're ready. How are you gonna get to the customer? What's the best way to do that? I'm a strong believer in educated customers buy more, so make sure you create educated marketing and sales material. Educate first, sell second, all right? Web, great. Blogs, great. Understanding the importance of which tool you use, and one of the things that's important is whatever tool you use, commit to it. You got to give it at least 6 months, okay? And I go through a bunch of them here, and you really need to consider them all. Now, week 6, you're going to look at online marketing, social media marketing, and strategic partnerships. I want to say January, might have been December, did an issue on that we went into online marketing. We had a couple of really good interviews that are worth getting. And we've done quite a few. We've done articles on just get their emails. There's a lot of articles back there that we've covered. But for starters, start off with exploring possible strategic partnerships. Who already has your customers that's not in your niche, all right? And how can you guys team together? Because if he's got your customers, you got his. Okay, so the two of you can work together to get them. Most important asset is your customer list. Start figuring out a way to capture it and expand it, and that's what online marketing does. All right, ways of review your website. Is it informational only? Should it be educational at least? And for God's sakes, why can't it sell? All right, or at least get it there. Don't forget blogs. We've been doing a blog for 3 years. One of the best things we did because you got to differentiate yourself from your competitors. Every CPA can do tax work. All of a sudden now we're helping them make more money. All right, email marketing. We spoke with somebody today and I agree with them 100%. Email marketing, just spam doesn't work, but email marketing to your own clients definitely works. All right, online advertising, play with it. It might work for you. Mobile apps, thing of the future. Social media sites. Make sure you do an offer, because that's the whole key. Really what you're doing with all this stuff is you're not trying to close the sale. You're trying to get the customer, the prospect that could be a customer, raise their hand and say, come talk to me. That's all you're trying to do with all this stuff, all right? Online press releases, online forums, webinars. Like I said, go get that Just Get Their Email program because it ties it all together. Week 7, now you're finally going to start to take everything you did. You're going to create your marketing plan. You're going to write it out. If it ain't written, it didn't happen. It doesn't exist, all right? You're going to put an editorial calendar together. We did an article on that, too, on how to tie all this together by having an editorial calendar. Go look at that. You're going to put your media plan together. You're going to do your budget. That's week 7. You start week 7 deciding how much you're going to spend based on your break-even point, the lifetime value of the customer, and the cash you got in the bank, all right? Detail the cost by month. Look, one of the reasons why we're probably a lot of the stuff we're going to do and things we're word of mouth, pick up the phone. You got no money, pick up the phone and call people. Call your customers, sell more. Call people you'd like to be customers. Put some simple postcards together, walk in, drop them off. That costs nothing, all right? Once you get a little bit more money, target market with postcards, sending them to a video or to call you, something. Make it a reason for them to raise their hand. Get good at selling, all right? Write out your marketing, the purpose of your marketing, your target market, your niche, the whole 9 yards, everything we just discussed. Week 8, finally, is the launch and then setting up a system to track your results and to close the sale. Doesn't do any good to bring in a bunch of prospects if you can't sell. we've done some articles on selling. We're going to take a look. I'm thinking in one of the next 2 or 3, we're going to get some salespeople in and really do some sales training. It's on, so pay attention. I think next month's on cash. I think the month after I was planning on doing selling. So pay attention to I would imagine, well, I want you to buy every one of them. You know, next month, if you don't want cash, I guess you don't need to buy Mays. But, you know, we're going to show you how to get cash out of your existing business right now, how to mine your cash. June's, I'm thinking, is going to be the sales one. So pay attention to that one. We're going to get into that. But for starters, you know, use a marketing book. We use a 3-ring binder. We've done that for clients, but we've graduated to Smartsheet or something like it, because it's shareable and it's easy. It's basically a Gantt chart where you basically list the product, list the step and who's going to do it, when they're supposed to do it, and then it ties everything together. Which, by the way, read the article we did this time. If you want to avoid all the issues, work from when you want to do it and work backwards with all the steps using Smartsheet. It does a good job. Track every result you can. In this issue, we also, because it was all tied to this, had an article 17 marketing activities you must measure to increase sales. Look, this is an area you manage. It's not gut feel. You should get numbers. If you decide to do a postcard like we're planning on doing later this summer, you do one postcard for 2, 3, 4 months, then you tweak something, something. See if it improved. If it didn't, you go back to your control. If it did, that becomes your new control. You tweak something else, all right? Fine-tune your sales closing ability. Create a create a script. Use consultative selling. It tends to work. You're on their side. You're selling. Automate your follow-up system to include up to 10 contacts. Use the CRM we talked about before. What do we use? Salesforce. There's a bunch of others out there. Matter of fact, I think Jacqueline next month is going to do an article on different CRMs. She just found that out because I just told her. We did an interview. Go watch an interview we did a couple months back on how to sell to, it was in the January issue, on how to sell to the frazzled prospect, because nowadays nobody has time. Important. That's an important one. There's a lot here. This is a great article. Make sure you look at it. If it overwhelms you, pay attention. We expect to have something out in the summer where we're going to do an online course on this. And we'll also have some online coaching, but we expect to turn it into a course first that you can do by yourself, and then we'll do some online coaching. So pay attention to this magazine. We'll have it there. If you want to be on our email list and you want to know more, hit the contact button. We'll add you to the email list so that you know on the editorials page, because it's not here. On the editor's page, a word from the editor, hit the contact us, and we'll add you to our email list. Just say add us to email list. Until next time, let's make this our most profitable year ever. Thank you.